Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for logging in, everyone. Chances are, if you got directed to this webinar, you have already seen the first webinar, the short 15-minute webinar where we talk about the exciting opportunity with Pivotal Wealth and why so many people are excited about what's happening, learning how to make money from home through trading in the Forex market. And again, like we talked about in that first webinar, probably never been a time in our country's history where learning this skill would be more important, right? Imagine having your income be independent of everything going on in the outside world. If it was independent of your job, independent of somebody else's decisions, and if your income was affected in any way, imagine, having a backup plan where you're saying, hey, listen, you know what? I have this skill where I can actually trade and I can make money from home. And you have the opportunity to join thousands of people worldwide already trading through this system, earning a great part-time income, and obviously, the goal, transition into a good full-time income. But what we talked about last night, just to recap before we dive into our training system, is there's really just two reasons why when you ask somebody, hey, have you ever day traded? Have you ever gotten into the Forex market? And would you ever do it? There's usually two reasons why they wouldn't, right? Or why they don't. And number one is, well, I don't know how to do it. Nobody's ever taught me. Nobody's ever taken me by the hand and showed me the way to do it. And the other reason is, hey, maybe I do understand it, but I don't want to risk any money. I don't have money to risk right now, or, we hear this a lot, and I've come across this a lot recently. I don't have enough money to get in. Some people say, well, I'll start with $100, or I'll start with a minimal amount. And again, that's all they're willing to put into risk. And so there's not a lot of reward from that. And so one of the reasons, again, why you're here today and why this is such an exciting opportunity is we have partnered with an organization that you're getting ready to see that's allowed us to remove both of these obstacles. So again, you are hearing that correctly. Takeaway, number one, we don't understand it. So guess what? We're going to teach you how to do it. And number two, as soon as you learn, as soon as you get through our training, you don't have to risk your own money. In fact, you can't. You're not even allowed to, you're not even able to trade your money in the system. We fund your account and put money in to trade, and then we split the profit. So guys, what an exciting thing. I think every now and then in your life and in your career, you come across a few concepts that, sound too good to be true initially, but if you take advantage of them, you happen to be at the right place at the right time, then they can be career changing and life changing. Again, I try and say that without sounding too corny, but, we're just super blessed and super excited to have partnered with Shawn Lucas, who's the founder of Apiary Fund. And guys, we're gonna really dive in. You're actually gonna get to hear from Shawn today, which is a treat in itself. But I would urge you, after you get off this call and this webinar, go on the web and just look up Apiary Fund, look up Shawn Lucas, and it's he's arguably the, if not one of the best traders in the world. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up all these bullet points. It's actually hard to introduce Shawn Lucas because you can't do it justice, right? Imagine trying to introduce one of the best athletes in the world when they're on the phone with you. You're like, you just can't say enough good things about him. Shawn has he started his career with Schwab and trading on Wall Street, facilitating trades for high net worth clients. And he just was so good at it that these clients said, Shawn, we just want you to personally manage our money, right? So he became a hedge fund manager and did that for many years. And that's really when Shawn was just not able to fly under the radar anymore. When you have his ability and his track record, word gets out. And he became world renowned, and it flies all over the world as keynote speakers and trainers. Huge companies that you've heard of, you see their commercials on TV, have Shawn come in, and not only train their traders, reverse engineer their trades to find out, hey, how can they get better? But he also develops their trading platform. Author of, again, numerous publications and books. But about a decade ago, Shawn found a passion for teaching people to trade. And guys, when I say people, I don't mean the Ivy League grad with a degree in finance and 3-letter acronyms after their name. I mean the average person that stays at home or that has a job and wants to learn to trade on the side and wants to pick up this skill. And, you know, Shawn is kind of a unicorn in the fact that, you know, you've always heard the saying, right? Those that can't do, teach, right? And that can be the case a lot of times. Sometimes, like, your best athletes don't make good coaches, right? Because they just can't transition from being able to do it so well themselves to teaching others to do it. And Shawn is one of those rare people that, again, not only is one of the best traders in the world, and this is all documented, guys. You can go on and take a look at Shawn Lucas. There's so much information out there about Shawn, but he also has this incredible knack for teaching others to do it. And so over the past 10 years, he's developed a system that takes the average person by the hand. And we get everybody on listening to this call today. You're all at different levels, right? Some of you know nothing about trading. You don't even know what a pip or a candle or a lot size is, all the way to somebody who has a lot of experience trading. But maybe, again, you're in the position where you don't want to risk your money and you want to learn, maybe fill the holes in your trading system. And so Shawn's system is adapted for everybody. That person that's going to start at the kindergarten level and go all the way up through being able to professionally manage money, all the way up to somebody who has a ton of experience and just needs to refine their skills. Before I turn the time over to Shawn, which we're incredibly fortunate to actually have Shawn himself on the call today, because a lot of times he'll have one of his head coaches or team leads come on and show us under the hood of Apiary Fund. But Shawn's actually going to do that for us himself today. So, guys, one of my questions when I first saw this was, what is apiary? And I'd never heard that word before. And Shawn says it's a beehive. And it makes so much sense when you dive into the laws of nature with regards to bees and their communities, and how it works is everybody works together helping each other. The hive supports the bees support the hive. You know, they all work together to make sure everybody's successful. And inside Shawn's system, even his modules are different beehives, and the training system is called the bee line. And so everything has this bee theme, which is just really cool. And Shawn has agreed to, again, kind of just lift up the hood and show us underneath so you can make a decision whether this is going to fit what you're looking for. And, you know, we're excited to work with you. Please take some good notes. And, you know, if you're listening to this on a recording, rewind it, watch it again, and just really listen to what Shawn's talking about, because he's just been able to change tens of thousands of lives through what he's done, through educating people on this skill. So, Shawn, I'm going to quit babbling, and I'm going to turn the time over to you. Are you there?
I'm here. Thank you, Jason. So great to be with you this morning.
Well, we're glad to have you. So tell me when you're ready to share your screen, and I'll stop sharing mine.
I am ready right now. So give me one moment. Folks, great to be with you. And thank you, Jason, for this great opportunity to work with Pivotal Wealth, and so excited for this group. You guys are fantastic. I got to tell you, we truly love working with Jason and Matt and Gary and a bunch of the folks over there at Pivotal Wealth. And you know, it's what we're doing here in the with Apiary is pretty unique. I mean, it's not every day that that folks have an opportunity to truly learn and develop their skills as a trader, and have an opportunity to step in to a fund, right? I mean, think about that. That's a pretty unique opportunity. It's if you take a step back and look at this industry, this is how the industry develops fund managers. So sorry, let me stop that. So yeah, this is how the industry develops fund managers. I mean, you don't go and get a degree in trading. Like I don't think that there's a university on the planet that has a degree in how to manage money in the financial markets. This is something that you learn through trial and error. And through, maybe you were fortunate to have parents or someone that, would sit you down and show you how to do it. But most people don't have that. Even, the education system doesn't have resources to develop, trading and investing investors. And so, at the professional level, someone teaches, these fund managers how to do it. And the way they do that is they bring them in, into their organization, and they sit them down and they have them start to, perform certain tasks in the market. At first they may analyze the market and give reports to, the trading team. But through that process, they'll assign them mentors. Basically, you have to work with a professional fund manager as you're going through the development process. You have to perform. So you'll have to make certain trades in the market and make sure that, they make sure that you have a good sense about, taking risk and managing emotions and all of that different stuff. So, but there's nothing formal that takes, the average person through this process and turns out successful traders on the other end. Until the Apiary fund. And so that we're super excited because this is a very unique process that we've tapped into, and that we've developed a step-by-step curriculum, a step-by-step development process to get you from the point where, you may know nothing about the market, like zero, all the way to the point where you can actually perform in the market. You can, sit down and with consistency, and that key word is consistency, with consistency, make money today, tomorrow, the next day, and so on for the rest of your life. That's really what we're trying to accomplish here. That's our mission here at Apiary Fund. And like I said, we use a lot of the same processes that professional funds use to develop their fund managers. And one of the key things to all of that is, the ability to manage the fund. So now if you think about that and compare and contrast that to most of the people who jump into this industry, most people have to, save a bunch of money. Then they have to go open up a brokerage account. And then, they have to deposit their lifelong savings into that brokerage account. And then they jump in and they place a trade and, hope that whatever advice or whatever stock tip or whatever tip that they got works out in their favor. Well, that's not a real effective way of learning. When you go and open up an account with your own money, there is all kinds of emotional ties to that money. There's an enormous amount of fear. And by giving folks an opportunity to trade the fund the way the Apiary Fund does that, what happens is we bypass, we circumvent a lot of those emotional fears, a lot of that risk fear, because of the process that we take you through. And then by simple fact that you're not trading your own money, right? You're basically stepping in and trading the resources of a professional fund. And I think that's a key part in that development process that, the most individuals don't get access to. Apiary Fund is loaded with all kinds of resources. If you think, basically what we wanted to do in the very beginning is have someone step into a system. We wanted you to step right into a system and then literally take you on a path. And at the other end of that path, have a consistently profitable trader, right? And so there's a lot of pieces that go into that path. Software, for example. One of the things that you're going to have to do if you're interacting with the market is you're going to have to learn how to use financial software. And so we provide a bunch of that. In fact, let me just take a real quick second here and I'll show you, I'll stop sharing this and let's go over here. Let me just show you real quick the software that you'll be using. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. But this is where traders spend a lot of their time is right here. So on this charting platform, you can see that I'm looking right now at the Euro USD, the Euro dollar. And basically as this market, what you're seeing is every transaction that's happened in the currency market is recorded and tracked right here. And what we'll do is we'll develop traders to the point where they can literally read these charts, just like a book, right? You didn't come out of the womb knowing how to read. You had to go through a process. You had to learn the alphabet. You had to learn how words how those letters get put together to form words, how those words get put together to form sentences and sentences for paragraphs and all of these things. And then eventually you can sit down and you can enjoy a good book, right? Well, that's the process that we have to do here with our traders is we have to go through a process, a literacy process where we develop that literacy. So you can sit down in front of a market like this and you can read it, you can understand it, you can know when to get in, when to get out, right? And that's a process that we take you through. What you're seeing here is it's what we call the GUI interface, the graphical user interface, the GUI, and that's the tool that you will use. Now, if you think about this, you're looking at the screen right now, but if you were to imagine behind that screen a bunch of different wires, that go all over the place, that's where the real power behind software it happens, right? So when you place a trade, for example, if we were to come in here and we wanted to buy the Euro USD, and so we came here and we clicked buy, what's happening with this order there, that order is now placed in the system, is that order is crossing the country right now and ending up at our servers at various locations around the world. And what's really unique about the Apiary Fund platform is how fast we're able to get that order from here to those servers. If you think about this, if you were to open up a brokerage account, on your own with some brokerage out there, Robinhood or TD Ameritrade or something like that, what would happen is that when you placed an order just like that, that order would go from your computer to the, say, Robinhood's computer, and then Robinhood would send it to an intermediary, and then that intermediary would send it to possibly the market. So if you think about how many steps that took, one, your computer, two, Robinhood, three, intermediary. And if you're lucky, that fourth step, that fourth hop, you can actually get that into the market. You can actually execute that trade. What Apiary Fund is Apiary Fund is an institution. And so by creating an institution, we remove a lot of those hops, a lot of those steps. So when you place an order right here, right now, it goes from your computer to our servers to the market and back, right? Now, another thing is that there's a lot of money that's invested in this technology behind the scenes. And so what we do to even speed this up even more is that when you get the order to our servers are conveniently located in the same, within the same building as the market. So that speeds up the time that it takes to get from our servers to the market and then back again. And so a lot of the power that you see in a software platform like this is, like I said, it's in behind the screen. It's behind the GUI interface. It's in how everything's structured behind the scenes. And, where we're managing, millions of dollars in the market, we want to make sure that our trades have the best chance of filling quickly, number one. That way we have very small, we're able to get those trades into the books as quickly as possible. There's been numerous times where that speed has saved, literally, hundreds of thousands of dollars for our traders because of how fast we're able to respond and move in the market. You can see, markets they're kind of going sideways right now. Not a real great time to be trading at this very moment, but you can see that right down here, when an order is put on the books, you can see how much money you're making or losing on that trade, right? But let me show you something real quick. I want to show you how quickly this trade closes. So we're right about zero. We're making, let me see if we can get a little pop out of this market. Let me just see if it'll give us a little push higher right there. Okay, so 70 cents, we'll make that 50 cents. Do you see I clicked that button and how fast that trade executed? That's an important piece to how successful how important and how successful Apiary Fund is in developing this platform. You can see this down here. Usually the markets are moving a little faster, but right now it's about mid-morning and a little rough on the speed of the market's kind of slowing down right now. But you can see down here, it picked up about $395, since Jason opened up the room and started talking. So that there's a lot of money that can be made in this market if you really know how to execute and how to place these trades and how to get out of the market and manage those positions against risk. So with that, let's kind of stop sharing that and let's jump over here and I can show you how we develop that in our traders. So let's jump over here and let's take a look at the beeline. So when you come into Apiary Fund, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start what we call the beeline to funding. And the beeline is literally the step-by-step process that you take to develop yourself into a successful trader. Everybody comes into into Apiary Fund with varying degrees of knowledge, experience, and so forth. Some people have had stock trading background, others have had zero. And it doesn't really matter where you start or what kind of experience you have, because what we're going to do is we're going to walk you. It's a journey. It's like a path that you take, if you were to go and take a hike in the woods, right? You start out at the trailhead and you walk and work yourself down the path, and eventually you get to your destination. So that's literally what we do here. There are basically 5 different, what we call hive levels. And thank you, Jason, for telling everybody what an apiary is, because that's not a real common word, but everything that we do is kind of bee focused. I mean, it makes sense, right? In a beehive, you've got all these bees that go out, thousands, tens of thousands of bees in a hive. they all go out finding nectar, in various places. Those bees will fly like 6 miles to find one little itty bitty drop that you may not even be able to see of nectar. And they grab it and they bring it back to the hive. They don't even eat it on the way back. I think that's incredible. I think if I was a bee, I'd probably be eating that honey or that nectar before I got back to the hive, and I'd be like, oops, sorry. But these bees don't even eat it. They bring it back, they put it in the hive. And that's really important because at some point in the year, the nectar is going to stop flowing, right? When the flowers stop blooming, the nectar stops flowing. And so for that period, that dry spell, the hive supports the bee. And so that it works out to be a really nice balance, between the hive and the bee. And if you think about what Apiary Fund does, we do something similar. Each individual here, each trader gets to manage a little piece of the fund. So individually, they'll sit there at their computers and they'll trade and trade and trade and trade. And, by the end of the month, on the 20th of the month, whatever profit they've generated, we give back to a portion of that back to the trader for a job well done. And so the hive kind of supports the bee, and the bee kind of supports the hive. Just, the trader supports the fund supports the trader. And it's just kind of this really nice relationship. So we love the analogy of the bee because it really kind of illustrates what we do. So getting back to this, a trader would go through these what we call different hives. So level 1 is the copper hive. And really what our focus here is to really engage you, right? We want to bring you into the trading world. We want you to get you into the community. We have some fantastic traders here, over 2,000 funded traders that are managing the fund. And we have this, let me show you real quick. We have this community where we created a culture where we like to share, we like to help each other. Think about that for a second. Isn't that kind of unique? In professional world, it's a dog eat dog world, right? What you know is you protect, you don't share it, because that's what gives you an opportunity to make money in the future and get promotions, right? Well, here we don't have that. We've created a model where there's no competition like that. In fact, the better that you do, the more money there is for everybody to manage, right? And so we've created this culture where we want to share, we want to help each other learn more. And so what you'll find is that a very robust community of help. So if you have a question, you come in here. This is a thread on short-term trading. You ask, throw your question out to the forum, and you're going to get some fantastic answers, right? Look at this, 24,000 posts. I mean, we are a very active community. Isn't that, I think it's kind of nice to know that you've got that kind of group behind you. It makes trading a completely different experience than going about it on your own. So, there's the community, and we get back into this copper hive, and you can, what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring you into the community, help you understand all the tools and the resources that you have, start to help you understand how the market works. And, but really it's an engagement process. Then you graduate that copper hive. You could do that really quick in a week or less, or maybe 2. And then you're going to jump right into this bronze hive. And this is where the education starts to happen. This is really where you're going to start to, learn how the markets work, how the software works. You're going to learn how to place trades. You're going to learn how economics works. You're going to learn a bunch of different things. So we're really, right there, we're going to jump you right into the learning process. You know, then as you start to get your bearings in the market and you start to understand the lingo and you can start to do these things, then you're going to jump into what we call the silver hive, where now we actually have you starting to execute different things. We really want you to learn strategies. We want you to learn the techniques that you need to implement those strategies. And so the silver hive really focuses on experience, giving you experience, real life experience. You know, if you were to go and do this on your own, you would probably place a trade right off the bat, right? You got this hot stock tip, you go and open your brokerage account, you place the trade, and you're one day into it and you place this trade, right? Just doesn't make sense, right? I mean, doctors don't just one day wake up and think, oh, I'm going to be a doctor today and go and fix an arm, right? Or a leg or something like that. Lawyers, the same thing. You know, they're not going to jump up one morning and say, hey, I'm going to go defend a criminal today or whatever. And, you know, there's a process that these professions go through that help develop them. And in our industry, a lot of that development happens right here in that silver hive, because this is where you're going to go out and start executing. You're going to start learning what makes sense to you, what strategies work for you. And once you get through that silver hive, you end up in the gold hive. And now we're really going to start focusing on refining your performance, right? So it may be a little clunky up here. You know, getting into trades and getting out of trades, you might find that you're making a lot of mistakes here and there. And they're not big mistakes, but they're mistakes, right? Well, once you get into the gold hive, now we're really going to start to refine your performance, right? Make sure that you understand how to make tweaks, how to recognize when things are going well or not going well. And so what you'll discover here in the gold hive is that we really start to refine and get you to the point where you're trading, you're winning more often than you're losing. And when you win, you're making more money than when you lose, right? Those are some key things that we want, key performance indicators that we want to make sure that our traders are doing. And then, you know, at some point you're gonna complete that gold hive, and then you jump into one of the funded accounts. So all of this up until this point is done through simulation. Now, just a quick note on that. When we say simulation, these are real markets that you're going to be interacting with. We don't make up markets, or we don't strip out data. And it's really important that you learn how to trade using like full real market data. When you go and open an account at a brokerage account, they don't give you the full data in a demo account or in a paper trading account. There's a reason why. It's because it's super expensive to deliver every piece of data that happens in the market. And so what they do is they strip data out and then they deliver that to you. We don't do that. We deliver the entire, every trade that has been placed in the market is delivered. So you get to see things as they really are, you know, not through, you don't get like a sampling of what the market could be like. You get to see everything. And that's important because you're developing yourself and how you read the markets. And if you're only getting every, 10,000 trade that goes through the market, well, then you're missing the 9,999 trades that give that trade reason for being there. And that's an important thing that you'll learn and appreciate as you go through Apiary Fund. So let's talk a little bit about funding. We recognize that, that's a huge milestone, number one, and we recognize that that's an important step in the progress. But it's important that you understand that that's now the beginning of a new phase of learning, right? Now things are real, right? Now you have the chance of making paychecks. And so there's a learning curve in psychology that happens at that moment, where now we need to, you know everything that you need to know. You've actually know how to do it. You've performed it many, many times. So we're not worried about education, and we're not worried about, whether you can perform in the market. But what we need to do at this point forward is we really need to work on psychology and making sure that you know how to manage emotions and manage, these trades and stuff like that. And so let me just show you real quick another exceptionally important tool that we have. No, not there. Went to the help section, misclicked there. This more tab, if we come down to the investor profile. So right out of the gate, what we're going to do is we're going to sit you down and we're going to kind of learn a little bit about what kind of investor you are, what kind of trader you are. Several years ago, back in 2005, 2004, I was doing a lot of work with different traders around the world. And so, companies would fly me in and say, hey, would you sit down with this trader or that trader? They need some guidance. They need to figure out some things that they're doing wrong. And, I would always sit down and initially have a conversation with them. And I'd, try and get to know them, get them to open up a little bit. Well, I started noticing, right off the bat, within 15 minutes of having a conversation with these traders, I noticed that, I could probably pinpoint what their problem was just by having that initial conversation with them. And, most of the time I was right. And we would be able to quickly get in and, fix these traders' problems and turn them around and within a week or two, they're right back in their game and hitting things, hitting very profitable. And so I connected with a psychology professor and I'm like, hey, is this a real thing? Like, is it possible to like really kind of like zero in on some of these issues and be able to give, very specific feedback for, these different types of people? And that professor says, oh my gosh, that is like brilliant. Like, I love this. And so for the next 2 years, he and I spent, hours and hours and hours sitting down and with traders and, going through these discussions and learning about the psychology, how they look at risk and how they look at emotion and really learning all of these, really fantastic things. And so at the end of those 2 years, we created this test that we could that we could put someone, in front of, and we could know a lot about how they manage risk and emotions. And so we identified, 4 different styles of trading. You've got analytical style here. You've got aggressives who also demonstrated different style of trading, and then methodicals, these are the guys that have to be shown every step of the process. They have to have a process, otherwise they're completely lost. They'll say, just show me what to do. Just explain step by step what I need to do. And then they're like, they can do it, right? And then you have these intuitive traders that, it doesn't matter if you show them a system or not. They're just like, yeah, I feel like it's going up, so I think I'm going to buy. And they can be incredibly successful. And so it's really important that we kind of learn like the psychology of each of our traders, because we can do an awful lot in helping you become successful, just knowing, how you look at things how you look at risk, how you manage emotion in your lives. Super important. I'll show you me, right? This is me. I am highly analytical. Go figure, right? This is why I do what I do. Not just trading, but this is why I, have developed this system, is because I'm highly analytical. This makes me tick, right? But I'm also aggressive. I'm least intuitive. Like I don't do things by my gut. I have to understand how things work, not how I feel about things. And now I can trade, right? Now, here's why this is so important, guys. Because when you go out and you learn how to trade, let's say you pick up a book, right? Who wrote that book? Was it an intuitive trader or was it an analytical trader? Right? And come to find out, how they write that book will appeal to a certain type of person, right? It may not be the book for you. An instructor, think about instructors, right? You may be a methodical instructor, methodical learner, methodical trader. Well, when you get in front of a methodical instructor, the world will open up to you, right? And so, when we go in and we pick all of our instructors over here on the community, for example, let's go to the calendar. If you check this out, you can see this is our schedule for this upcoming week. And it is loaded with all of these different classes. Right? That's all included in the package that you get into. So if all you wanted to do is spend time, with instructors and in live classes, you could spend, 40 hours a week just listening to these instructors talk about different things. But what you're going to learn is each of these instructors have a personality, right? I've made sure that we have different, very successful instructors that represent all of the different styles of trading. And that way you can find those things that resonate with you and not have to, and it just makes the entire learning process so much better, so much easier, if that makes sense. So there's that. I always tease Jason. I'm like, I know it looks like the old TV guide, right? The calendar looks like the old TV guide. Oh, let's see. It's 7:00. What's playing right now on Apiary Fund TV? You can log in and join that. One of the nice things that you'll find is that, if you miss a class, back in history, it's no worries, right? You can always come back in and like this trading room, if you missed it last week, you always come right back in and view the recording. So you don't have to be there. We have what's that auto recording system, it just automatically records everything and makes it available for you. So there's a little bit about our calendar. Jason, I know I'm running out of time here, but let me just real quick, I want to show you one last thing real quick before I turn the time back over to Jason. I want to show you how we teach, which is really important. So we have a model that guides all of our development process. So number one, we want to explain something to you, right? Super important that you learn how things work. So the first part of everything that we do is going to be a teaching opportunity. The second thing is that we're going to have you go out and experience it, right? So that we approach the development process from both sides, right? We don't just want to give you education. Now we want you to go out and experience it. So for example, here, watch the strategy behind stops, right? So you're going to learn that there's a strategy that you can use to protect your investments, right? You watch this video and you're going to learn how that works. Well, then come down here. We have a practice exercise that makes sure that you use stops losses on 50 trades in a row, right? So you learn how to do it, and then you come in and you practice it. Now, think about it like this. Pianists, like concert pianists, they didn't just go to a class to learn how to play. Very few. Maybe there's been a handful of them in history that have, read a book or someone that's explained to it and they just sit down and do it. But not very many people are like that, right? it's you get instruction, a pianist gets instruction. They have a teacher sitting right there with a ruler. Not that I had my hand smacked ever in my life, but a ruler. And you're taught how to play the piano, right? And then they expect you to get out there and practice, and you practice, practice, practice. And so it's like that combination of learning and doing that makes Apiary Fund so unique in this industry, because we make sure that you have both elements of that. And then performance, right? Once you complete these things, you get experience points, XP. And so you can literally, as you're going through this process, you can see your experience creep up, right? I just did this, I got more experience. I did this, I got more experience. Kind of like a game, right? A lot of these games our kids play is all, gain experience. You got get XP, you level up, right? And I think that's one of as we're wired that way as humans, to like have fun in the process. And so Apiary Fund is one of those ways, you can learn a phenomenal skill, something that will change your life forever, right? Imagine opening up the computer and, while Jason is talking, you're picking up $395 while Jason's talking. Well, that's kind of a life changer, right? I've been in a lot of meetings where, I was far more profitable in my trading during the meeting than I was, in what the outcome of that meeting was. And it's a game changer. You can travel down to, your favorite vacation destination, and not while you're driving, but while someone else is driving, you're able to make a little bit of money on the way, and you get there and you paid for the whole trip. I mean, that's a life changer. And so Apiary Fund is literally in the process of helping you change your life. We're helping you become financially literate. We're making sure that you're consistently profitable. And with those things, you're able to change your life. Thank you so much for your time today, folks. And Jason, thanks a million for giving me an opportunity to chat with the good folks here at Pivotal. So I'll turn the room back.
Shawn, man, we just appreciate you. And I've heard you and I've seen you go through, the back office of Apiary and how you show Alveo. But as you go off and talk about different things and different stories, I mean, I literally, I have a page and a half of notes that I've taken, because every time you go through this, you reveal kind of different nuggets and stuff. And guys, I just want to maybe mention 2 or 3 things that I've picked out of what he was saying, that I think sometimes we get so spoiled because we get to hear Shawn all the time, right? And, when I gave the first part of this presentation, guys, I looked at the clock when I turned the time over to Shawn. It was 11 minutes, right? 11 minutes in, and he made $395 in those 11 minutes. It's, again, just gives a testament to the power of learning this skill. And, one of the things that I love is when he was pointing, hey, right here's where you learn the skill. And then you actually log on to the demo, the Alveo software that he showed that had all the graphs, the actual trading platform. Well, guys, you start off with a demo account, but you're actually trading live market conditions, and you're practicing the skills that you just learned on a real trading platform with simulated money. And then as soon as you've completed the whole game like you should, get all the points, got all through the hives, then you trade on that exact same platform, but now you're trading real money. So such a cool thing to see. Guys, last thing before I'm getting some private messages saying, okay, what are the packages? How do we get started? But I think it's important to point out that when Shawn started Apiary Fund, he developed this whole platform. And as you can tell, I mean, the psychology, a psychologist helping, the different personality types is truly unbelievable. But what was the second reason people don't trade? I think you guys can obviously agree by watching Shawn that we took care of the first thing, right? Hey, you're going to teach me to trade, no doubt. But the second reason was they don't have money to trade. And so Shawn said, let me put my money where my mouth is. He put $8 million of his own money into a fund and said, listen, everybody that completes my training, they're going to trade my money out of this fund, and then we're going to split the profits. So I just don't think we had pointed that out in the beginning, that you actually are trading Shawn's money, right? The gentleman who's going to teach you to trade, so confident in now your skills that he says, listen, trade my money, we'll split the profits. So guys, again, I'm sure I could go through about 10 more points in my notes as well as in yours, but let's get into how to get started, how to join this journey here. There are 3 different education packages that end in a funded trading account. So depending on what level you want to dedicate to this and what commitment you want to make, one of these packages will fit for you. There's the Trader Floor package, which is $19.97. You pay that up front. That's the tuition cost. And then when you go through the Beeline, as soon as you complete, again, I'll just bring up all these the benefits that come in the Trader Floor package. As soon as you complete all the training, again, Shawn went through the majority of these benefits. You get 2 one-on-one coaching sessions with one of the professional traders and coaches at Apiary Fund. And these are incredible. People pay hundreds of dollars per session. You get 2 of those. You can take them anytime, whether you're going through the Beeline or after you're funded. But when you complete the training, you start with $2,000 in your account to trade. And then Shawn said, hey, it gets better than that. As you get better at this and gain more experience, we're going to put more money in your account. So they do quarterly reviews. And if you're profitable, they increase the amount of money that you're able to trade. So on the Trader Floor package, you can go all the way up to $20,000 in your account. And then every month when they sweep the account, you get to keep 40% of the profit. So guys, that's the Trader Floor package. The next package is the Desk Trader package. The Desk Trader is $49.97 upfront. That's the tuition cost. You get all the same benefits as the Trader Floor, except for you get 6 one-on-one trading partner sessions. And guys, these are just, of all the feedback we get, the live coaching sessions are some of the most important things. But when you complete the Beeline, you get a couple more benefits here. You get a Trading as a Business course, teaches you the incredible tax breaks for being a trader. You get a trading rally ticket. Again, you get to see Shawn trade live at different spots around the country. But when you complete the Beeline on the Desk Trader package, you start day one with $5,000 in your account, right? And at that point, you can go all the way up to $50,000 in your account. So those are through quarterly reviews. If you saw Shawn, the account Shawn was trading had $50,000 account in it. Believe me, Shawn, again, he does that to show that anybody can do what he's doing. He doesn't trade a $200,000 account. He certainly could. And then every month when they sweep the account, you get 50% of the profits. So isn't that incredible? He says, listen, I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to give you money to trade, and then we'll split it 50-50. The top package, which definitely has the most bang for the buck, but it's also the largest commitment, is the Market Maker package. It's $99.97. You pay that one time up front. You get all the same benefits as the Desk Trader. However, you get 12 one-on-one coaching sessions. Again, you can use those when you're going through training. If you need just a little extra pair of eyes on what you're doing, or you can do it after you've been funded. So when you go through the Beeline, this also includes a Beeline boot camp. Guys, the boot camp is a a week-long trip out to Utah to the Apiary Fund headquarters. You get to spend, again, 6 days with Shawn and all the traders at Apiary. It includes room and board. I mean, they just really take care of you. They give you a separate funded account to trade while you're in Utah. They do cool things, midnight trading sessions when the London market opens. Just exciting stuff. Again, that ticket alone is $5,000, and they are sold out. People come from all over the world to spend a week in Utah with Shawn and his team. The market maker package is $10,000, is $99.97. But when you complete the Beeline, you get a $10,000 funded account day one, and you can go all the way up to $250,000 in your account. And guys, here's maybe the biggest thing is a 70% split. You get to keep 70% of the profits every month. So again, I'm going to compare these a little more here in a second, but you know, if one of these three packages is not in the cards for you right now, we do have some packages with a little lower barrier to entry. They do not end in a funded account, however. So if you're just saying, hey, I just want to solve that first obstacle, I want to learn how to trade, I want to learn about the market, then maybe you could take advantage of the Beeline Fast Pass. That includes the 2 first hives, the copper and bronze hive. You do get a limited simulated account to practice those skills that you learned. You get a weekly live trading room with Shawn, so you get to watch him trade each week. And again, guys, I always use the sports analogy, but imagine if you get to watch a LeBron James or a Michael Jordan or one of the best players in the world. You get to watch them play once a week to refine your skills. It's incredible. You guys saw the calendar of classes. I love Shawn's analogy of the old TV guide. Of course, my memory that pops into my head is my dad making me walk across the floor to change the channel, right? I was the remote. Then if you do start the Beeline and you said, hey, look, I want to upgrade to one of the, or I want to purchase one of the new education packages that end in a funded account, you would start at silver. And that package is $797. Then there's the Trader on the Street membership, which is basically the Beeline Fast Pass minus the copper and bronze, okay? And that's $87 a month. Now, they make these strategies and challenges available, which are cool. They can buy certain strategies for a few $100, like a video series. Challenges, you pay these, at this level, they pay $100. If they complete the challenge, they get their $100 back. Those are included at no cost on the other packages. So pull out your cell phone, guys, and you can take a picture of the comparisons here. Now, obviously, these prices are retail prices. Going through Pivotal Wealth and our partnership, you get a pretty serious discount. Again, here's the funding payouts as well as the splits. Those challenges we talked about are included in here. They're $100, but you get your money back if you complete the challenge. Here's the Beeline Boot Camp, the fly-in boot camp we were talking about. That's included in the market maker package. So, guys, I'll kind of end with this. We went a little longer today than we normally do, but I think it was some incredible information. Some of you say, listen, I know exactly which package I want. I'm going to put it on my credit card, or I have the funds to pay for it. But some of you say, hey, I want to do it. I want to take advantage of that market maker or desk trader package, but I don't have the resources right now. Well, guys, you can take advantage of some financing options. We've partnered with a company that extends lines of credit and credit cards. You can get anywhere from $15K up to $100K. It's 0% interest for 12 months to 24 months, depending on your credit score and some other factors of your finances. You know right away if you apply. It's a soft pull, so it doesn't affect your credit. They do charge, if you get approved and you decide to move forward with it, they charge a 10% fee up front, right? And that caps at $34.95. But then you're 0% interest for 12 to 24 months. If that looks like it might be an option for you guys, you're obviously welcome to use any source of funding that you have. But if you'll apply here, take a snapshot of the screen with your camera. Jeff Peterson is the rep that we actually work with. He's great to work with. He actually is in the beeline to funding, so he knows exactly what you're doing. Best to text him, as you can imagine. He has just tons of people calling him all day long for this funding. So best to work through text, but here's exactly how you apply with the password and promo code. So guys, again, thank you so much for your time today. Get with the person who invited you on this call or who sent you this webinar, and let them know your level of interest and where you want to get going. And again, Shawn, we really appreciate you showing us your back office and all your resources. I think people, after seeing this, they'll know whether this is a good fit for them. And I think, you did a great job of showing the culture and, that family oriented, how everybody wants you to succeed. And it's not a competition where you would find at other places where, look, the more successful the traders are here, the more the fund grows and more money to trade for everybody. So what an exciting concept, guys. Pivotal Wealth, we're just so grateful for you. Look at what we're doing, and we look forward to working with you. So everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.